Hey, hey, hey. Happy Tuesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, which is brought to you by, amazingly enough, thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. Welcome aboard. If this is your first time joining me, let me point out it's very, very casual. Just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news. Every once in a while, we'll chat a little bit about PC gaming as well as pop culture, but the vast majority of the time, we're tackling the latest in tabletop gaming. If you are a regular viewer, a constant viewer perhaps, welcome back. Always good to have you joining me once again. I always wear deodorant, so hopefully that keeps you around, right? I'm not chasing anybody off. Do you want to mention, yes, I am wearing specs. I am giving my eyes a break from my contact lenses for a few days. So probably this week, you'll just see me wearing glasses. And I do apologize. You're probably getting a little bit of glare from the lighting. Not much I can do, you know. It's not like I've got Hollywood lighting here that I'd be like, oh, okay, well, I can get rid of that glare from the glasses. Or not have any lenses in them. That was something that they used to do a lot. Anyway, welcome everybody. Do want to mention that if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell, because it'll not only let you know when the dispatch streams live Monday through Thursday nights, usually here on YouTube. It also lets you know when I upload other videos, such as tomorrow's review of Apocalypse Road from GMT Games. Yes, that's tomorrow's review. It'll be tomorrow night. It will not be up in the afternoon. I also want to mention that on Friday, I will have my review of Basic Fantasy 3rd Edition. So that will be out as well. Give you a peek at this. So, got plenty cooking. If you follow me on Twitter, I posted an image of a bunch of the games that I have reviews in the pipeline. In fact, I did release a review yesterday and then ended up giving the game away to somebody. In fact, I explained what I do with the exit games, which are from KOSMOS. I don't tend to cut them up or tear them apart or whatever. So that way I can do a review of them and then still give them away to let somebody else play. So that is the most recent review. And it was kind of funny because then somebody stopped by yesterday who were like, yeah, I saw that review. That game looked really cool. And I was like, here, take it with you. So, all right. I also want to point out that if you are watching live on YouTube, which is really the only place you could be watching live, chat is available. So if you've got something to say, got a question, a comment, maybe you want to say howdy, by all means, please chime in. Chat is not on screen. One of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay, but I do my best to pay attention to chat, even though sometimes it zips by pretty quickly. So, welcome aboard. First out the gate tonight was Clint Gibson saying hello. Quest Friend has joined us in chat. I do believe this is a first-time visit For Quest Friend, I don't believe I recognize that nickname. Flaming Huron is in chat. Beat Cafe has joined us. The Madman has also arrived. So both of our chat moderators are here with us as well. And a Gray Day is here in chat. So right off the bat, we got a cool number of people in chat. So very nice, very nice. Yes, a Gray Day's already trying to steal some of my thunder from my news pieces tonight, asking the Madman if they've noticed something, which I'm sure the Madman knew this was coming, and we'll talk about it. So I've got some news for us tonight, and then I am going to talk a little bit about a rather serious subject. It's on a lot of people's minds right now in the tabletop gaming hobby. I'm not going to pontificate too much about it. I'm not actually going to go into a lot of detail about what people are chiming in about, but we're going to discuss a little bit because I've been around this hobby a long time. And there are folks who, there are folks out there who have big channels and tens of thousands of people watch all their videos and things like that who have not been around this hobby very long. Some of them like 5 years. And that's fine. But they can't come along and tell me what this hobby was like 20 years ago because they weren't in it. But we will discuss. All right. So, yes, and the Madman says they were all over that Kickstarter at noon today. Yes, we'll talk about how quickly that Kickstarter funded, too. When we get to it, let's jump on into the news because currently arriving in stores from Ludonova is Polynesia. Here's the deets. The frequent tremors, the looming clouds over the crater, and the ever-increasing smell of sulfur make it clear that it is time to escape. Direct your tribe through the waters of the Pacific in search of a new home, safe from the impending eruption of the volcano. Explore new sea routes that lead to unvisited islands. Collect resources on those islands to offer to other tribes in exchange for their knowledge, and continue sailing in search of a safe place. All of this being done to save as many of your tribe members as possible and lead them to new lands where they can prosper. The most successful individual through this difficult mission will be appointed the Supreme Chief of the Polynesian tribal group. In Polynesia, players must save their tribe members from the dangers of the volcano by taking them to the islands that will give them the most points. At the same time, players must try to reach the objectives set by the tide cards, which will vary from one game to another. To succeed, players must collect resources in the form of fish and shells that will allow them to explore new sea routes, use the routes of other players, and sail from one island to another. Polynesia is played in rounds, and each round is divided into 2 phases. In the action phase, each player has 3 turns in which they can perform one of 3 actions: sail, explore, or populate and fish. I guess populating and fish is one action. In the maintenance phase, the volcano activity is checked for activity. Okay, it's a little redundant. And each player can collect resources depending on the islands where they have tribe members. Polynesia is for 2 to 4 players, ages 12 and up, plays in around 60 to 75 minutes. Does carry an MSRP of $44.99. It is currently rolling into stores as I speak. So some stores may already have it. Some stores may be awaiting their shipments. But this could be kind of an interesting game. I like the look of it, although I have to admit those ship tokens, I feel weird saying meeple because it's not representing a person. But those ships are the same exact ship tokens that were in Shores of Tripoli. Same exact ones for the gunboats and the Corsairs. I thought that was kind of funny. I think Ludonova they're a Spanish company. I might be wrong, but I think they're out of Spain. This could be cool. I like the artwork. Looks kind of interesting. So, a grade A says that they really like the GMT game Conquest of Paradise. It's a Polynesian Civ type game. Yes, I enjoy that as well. In fact, where is it? Oh, you can't see it. Sorry. It's right behind me. It's over here. But it's down on the bottom of that shelf that I don't think you can see. I do not believe you can see the bottom game on that shelf. All right. So, kind of cool. I like that. Moving right along. Arriving this July from KOSMOS is The Crew Mission Deep Sea. Here's what I know so far. In the trick-taking card game The Crew Mission Deep Sea, you and the other players are on the trail of a great secret. Do your best to lead the entire team to the destination. With each card, you dive deeper and deeper into the darkness of the deep sea. Can you come up with a better word? Just deep, deeper, deeper, deep. Going, gone. That's a 3-run shot. Have you completed another mission? Let's go further. In this highly anticipated follow-up to the original cooperative card game, winner of the 2020 Kennerspiel des Jahres, players work together to search for the lost continent of Mu. I always thought it was Mew. Somebody else told me it's Moo, but I thought it's Mew. It's M-U. Anyway, you're not looking for Atlantis. You're looking for that other place. This new adventure takes your crew deep down into the abyss on a search for the fabled sunken land. How far you get depends entirely on how well you work together as a team. Card by card, trick by trick, your search party will discover the challenges that lie ahead and forge a path to, I'm saying, Mew. This new version of The Crew has the same innovative cooperative trick-taking mechanic as the highly lauded original game, but with some exciting new surprises. While communication between your crew members is severely limited by your submerged state, it is also critical to your success. Finding the hidden land in the murky depths depends not only on winning tricks, but on carefully negotiating the order in which they are won. If things don't go as planned, you might just be able to salvage the operation, but it will take near flawless execution and perhaps a little luck to finally reach Mew. The Crew Mission Deep Sea is for 3 to 5 players, ages 10 and up. Plays in about 20 minutes per mission. Sometimes the missions are a little shorter, sometimes they're a little bit longer. You're not going to finish the whole story in 20 minutes. So far, there's no MSRP yet. This is supposed to be a July release from KOSMOS. I'm going to take a guess that we should see the MSRP right about the same price as what The Crew was. And that was $14.95. I'm sure there are a lot of people who are going to be excited. I wish I could have found more images. In fact, I don't even have an English language photo for the box. So it's the German box cover that I'm sharing. I got to say, I like The Crew. I think The Crew is a good game. I couldn't see why people were going completely bananas for it, but I did think I liked it. I think it's a good game. I actually gave it to my best friend Elliot because he's a big fan of trick-taking games. I think they're fine, and that was just a really good fit for him and his family. And he, as far as I understand, he's really enjoyed playing it with them. So we've got Zorak Zoran 1 joining us in chat. I believe this might be Zorak's first visit with us. So very cool. Thank you very much for popping on in. Looks like we might have a couple of first timers tonight. I have not paid all that much attention to chat so far. I'm taking a peek right now. A lot of discussion about the pricing on my next news piece. We'll get into that in just a sec. But first off, the Pathfinder 4 Savage Worlds Kickstarter kicked off earlier this afternoon. It funded in less than 2 minutes, and I believe the Madman was part of that mad rush to get their support in. Regardless, here's a scoop about the Kickstarter from Pinnacle. Pinnacle Entertainment Group loves Pathfinder and Paizo's legendary adventure paths. We know you do too, because we've seen literally hundreds of fan-made conversions of their amazing adventures over the years. So we decided to make it official, and Paizo was gracious enough to let us play in their sandbox. That means we're making Pathfinder for Savage Worlds and an official version of the Rise of the Rune Lords adventure path. Those who love the Savage Worlds game system can now play some of the best-selling, most played fan favorite epic fantasy adventure tales in the entire history of the role-playing game industry. Wow, kiss ass much? Joking. Wow, they're like really excited. If you're new to Savage Worlds, it's a flexible system that can transition from narrative theater of the mind to detailed tactical combat with crunch as you like. Now we're taking our explorers into the land of Golarion, starting with the Pathfinder for Savage Worlds core rulebook. This 256-page hardback book gives you all new class edges, new powers and power options, gear specific to the world of Golarion, and magic items, and more. And you don't need the Savage Worlds Adventure Edition for this one. The entire core Savage Worlds rules system, streamlined and tweaked for Savage Pathfinder, is included. We've also created a Pathfinder for Savage Worlds Bestiary Game Master screen and converted the classic and atmospheric adventure Hollow's Last Hope. I swear, the first time I saw that, I thought it said Hope's Last Hope. I went, what? I was like, oh, okay. I was like, what kind of goofy name would Hope's Last Hope be? But it's not. It's Hollow's Last Hope. We're also super excited to bring you the Savage Worlds version of Paizo's first adventure path, Rise of the Rune Lords. This epic 6-book saga takes Pathfinders on an incredible journey filled with deadly cultists, terrifying ogres, rampaging stone giants, and a final confrontation with, well, we don't want to ruin the surprise, but there's a big hint in the title. The project hit its funding goal in less than 2 minutes. Yowza. So I've got their Kickstarter video. It's relatively short. It's less than 2 minutes. Let's hop on in, give it a peek. Once again, the Pathfinder for Savage Worlds Kickstarter hit its funding goal in Less than 2 minutes. Amazing. Because I was actually there at noon Central Time. Oh, I'm sorry. I should say it was 11 a.m. Central Time, because I wanted to get the news out there today as opposed to waiting like I normally do with most of the news that I put on the Dispatch. I posted on thegaminggang.com the next day, but I did want to get that out. And it was funny because I already had the video because the video was floating around from Pinnacle, but I didn't have all the specifics. And it was funny. By the time I looked through and I kind of copied and pasted some stuff and I took a look and it was 11:02, it was already past its funding goal. It's like, oh, okay. All right. Speaking of the funding goals, there are a variety of pledge levels, both for physical and digital releases. Various, if you want just the core rulebook, or you can get the ultimate core box set, or you can get Rise of the Rune Lords. So if you want the physical releases, effectively what it breaks down to is you can get the ultimate core box, which I have been sharing some images of what you're going to get with the ultimate core box set and the Rise of the Rune Lords. So the ultimate core box set is available for a $200 pledge. The Rise of the Rune Lords box set is available for a $100 pledge. That is through February 15th. Once again, as I mentioned, all different pledge levels, and there are digital levels as well. And someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but here's what you'll find in the box. That image is showing what's in the two box sets. I might be wrong, but I thought you can get everything digitally for a $75 pledge. So I could be off on that, but I thought that's what I noticed earlier today. Now, the digital releases are expected in April. The print products will follow this September. So, question I've got, and especially, of course, the Madman is our resident Savage Worlds expert. How excited are you to see the Pathfinder game ported over to Savage Worlds? I'm kind of curious. Obviously, people are very excited because it funded in less than 2 minutes. Flaming Heron says, try again watching it live. It's been going up a fair bit since the stream went live. Yeah, pretty crazy. Pretty rocking. So, first thing I was kind of curious about is, well, first thing I'll mention, I was surprised that the adventure is going to be Rise of the Rune Lords. Hasn't that kind of been done to death? I know it's the first adventure path for Pathfinder. I get that. I mean, I've read through it, for first edition. I mean, it's fine. I think it's a fine adventure. I don't think it's like, oh my gosh. Oh, holy cow, this is one of the greatest adventures ever created for this role-playing game. So, I don't know. I mean, I think it's very cool. Don't get me wrong. I am not sitting there trying to dissuade anybody from checking this out. One of the things I thought was interesting is the Rise of the Rune Lords box set. It's not one book. It's going to be the 6 different booklets. Well, they're books. I mean, they're usually about 100 pages. I thought that was kind of interesting. So I also have to point out, I'm a little surprised they went to Kickstarter to do this, because this is a slam dunk. But then again, maybe that's why Pinnacle went to Kickstarter for this as well. I think this is very cool. So the Madman says they are very excited to see this, and he ordered both boxes. So Agrede says that they would rather run Savage Worlds Adventurers Edition instead of second edition Pathfinder. I could see that. I could see that. Especially people who don't want tons of crunch. Because that is one thing that Pathfinder second edition does have that some people may not like, is all the crunch to it. There's a lot. There's a lot you need to memorize, way more than you really have to be on your toes for fifth edition. But then again, on the flip side, you're also looking at having way more options as far as your character creation, and I know that is a big deal as well. So the Madman says, it will be nice to go back to a fantasy setting in Savage Worlds. A Grade A says, it's a Pinnacle Kickstarter, not a Paizo project. Yes, I know that. So a Grade A is wondering what Pinnacle's paying for it, or what kind of licensing that they've agreed to. I don't know. Kind of interesting. So I've got another role-playing game Kickstarter to talk about. I know, I went a little heavier on role-playing game news tonight. Now up for Kickstarter crowdfunding for Occult Ultramastre Games, Stockholm Cartel, and Free League Publishing is Mork Heretic, or I should say it's actually Mork Cult Heretic. And here's the scoop. Mork Cult MBC is our sub-label for selected, approved, and curated Mork content by the community. Basically, you can send us homebrew stuff, and if we like it and it follows our guidelines, we make some edits, art, and lay it out before publishing it for free download on morkborg.com. Digital MBC content, including that of zines like this, will always be free, but this is a chance to get some of it in high-quality print form. I mean, you can download the content for free and print it at home, too, if you want. Since a few days ago, we are also putting the submissions to MBC on pause. When we started this project, we had no idea we would receive as much content as we are, and since we're also working on forthcoming books, etc., we simply can't keep up with the demand. So we closed it down for a bit until we've cleared the backlog, at which point we can open it up again. About 6 months ago, we kickstarted Mork Cult Furatory, the first MBC zine. It was a much bigger success than we could have imagined, and an unbelievable 1,792 backers helped us realize the project. Since then, we have received a ton of awesome content submitted to the cult, and we want to collect it into a physical zine once more. So if you're familiar with MBC Furatory, you know the drill. This is pretty much the same exact thing. Oh, and there's also the official Mork Game Master Screen of Doom and the mysterious shrine Ichan. Mork Cult Heretic is published by Free League Publishing, same as Mork and Mork Cult Furatory was. They're going to handle the printing, distribution, and digital fulfillment. There is a super short video. It's about 30 seconds. Got to point out, I have it muted because if I play the music that's in it, I'm going to get flagged for a copyright violation. I already checked that out earlier today. So normally I would just not share it, but it's only 30 seconds. So let's take a quick peek and see what we got with Heretic. Mork Cult Heretic is over 1,000 funded. You can reserve a copy in print or PDF, or I should say print and PDF, for an $18 pledge through January 29th. Expected delivery for the physical zine is going to be July. I'll be the first to point out, yes, I'm not positive if that's correct pronunciation of the game's name. There have been umpteen different pronunciations that people have rolled out there. Myrkbig or Myrkbig is close because it is not Mork Borg, which I made the mistake calling it originally. People were like, what? Yes, it's Mork from Orc. The role-playing game. Nanu. So Zoran once says, yeah, that sounds so funny. Quest Friend says, that GM screen rocks. So I do want to mention that Doug Roberts has popped into chat with us. I know I'm supposed to say, I think this is Doug's first visit. Good to see you again, Doug. Thanks for hanging out with us in chat tonight. So my final news piece, let's move on to it, because now available in print and PDF from the Design Mechanism is Casting the Runes. And these are the details. Casting the Runes is a role-playing game based on the works of M.R. James, the father of the modern British ghost story, and uses the gumshoe system for investigative RPGs. The unique character of James's stories and his own personality inspired the game. Player characters, investigators under the guidance of the game master, proceed step by step to unearth the unearthly, researching the uncanny, the sinister, and the supernatural against the backdrop of Edwardian Britain. Adventures are based on the classic ghost story, replete with malevolence and terror, the glare of evil faces, the stony grin of unearthly malice, pursuing forms in darkness, and long-drawn, distant screams. Step back in time and into a shadowy world where demons are real, malevolent ghosts stalk the unwitting and urbane, educated sorcerers pursue hideous knowledge in their bid to cast the runes. Casting the Runes is a complete role-playing game and needs only some six-sided dice, a few friends, and a willingness to explore the shadowy corners of the Edwardian era. This book has everything else you need to create Edwardian investigators, learn about and compellingly convey the Edwardian period, structure occult investigations, and present the supernatural. It includes 2 introductory scenarios, the Coptic lamp and the house with the brick kiln. Oh my God, it's got a brick kiln. The horror. So you can begin your investigations without delay. You can score the 200-page black and white hardcover as well as PDF for $34.99 at Drive-Thru RPG. You can score the PDF alone for $17.99. Cool. Nice. You know me, I love horror role-playing games. Of course, normally I'm drawn to, Lovecraftian tales. But yeah, M.R. James, pretty famous ghost story author there. I'm trying to remember if I've read any of his story. I'm sure I have at some point over the years. So I was kind of curious. So the Design Mechanism is the same company that created Mithras. And isn't Mithras like based on RuneQuest? Isn't that a D100 system, kind of like basic role playing? Kind of surprised that this is based on Gumshoe, which is very different as far as mechanically, So I'm kind of like, well, kind of cool though. I wouldn't mind taking a peek at this. I'm sure I won't have an opportunity to, but yeah, you never know. You never know. All right, that is it for the news tonight. As I was just discussing, this is available over at Drive-Thru RPG, and of course, the gaming gang, thus the Dispatch, are affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to go visit, say, Drive-Thru RPG, by all means, please swing by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads, and that way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a little portion of that sale. Little portion, and all those nickels and dimes and quarters really do add up, and they help to pay for thegaminggang.com web hosting month in, month out. So thank you very much. Always appreciated. There are quite a few people who actually do use our links, so thank you very much. One thing, we were talking about Pathfinder a little bit, and maybe somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't think Pathfinder used to be on. I didn't think it was available at Drive-Thru RPG. And now, like, in their top sellers, the core rulebook for second edition Pathfinder is in their top sellers. So I think the One Bookshelf company has made made an arrangement with Paizo. Must have. Anyway, speaking of role-playing games, do you want to share what arrived today? If you do follow the Dispatch, if you watch quite often, you know that I had a bit of a wave of nostalgia hit me. So I had been ordering the first edition Dungeons and Dragons books. So I've already got Monsters Handbook. I've got the Dungeon Master's Guide. I've got the Fiend Folio. And today the Player's Handbook arrived. And this is in pretty darn good shape. It's in a lot better shape than I thought it was going to be. So just, you figure this has got to be, well, let's see. What print was this? This is, well, I got to be honest. I think this is the first print. Because it doesn't say. So, very cool. Very cool. So, Quest Friend says, ooh, nice. What a beauty. Clint is also saying, hey, nice. Cool, says Double Z. This will just say Double Z. A Great A says, was that eBay? Yes, it was. It was on eBay. It was a buy now. So, I had run across it and bought it then and there. It took about a week to get it. So very cool. So all I've got left to pick up is the deities and demigods. And I got to be honest, if I'm going to end up, because it's actually, I got to be honest, I think it's the most expensive book, especially if you're looking to get it with the Cthulhu mythos as well as the Michael Moorcock, Elric of Milna Bonnet mythos in it as well. And I'm kind of sitting there thinking, you know what? If I'm going to end up getting it and going to have to pay a decent amount for it, I might as well just get the book that's got the stuff that they had to take out. The Chaosium. Well, they didn't have to take it out. They thanked Chaosium. They had to give Chaosium credit. And then, so the first edition, they just printed it. Then they realized, oh, Chaosium actually has rights to the role-playing game rights to Michael Moorcock's Elric series, as well as the Cthulhu mythos, and that was through Arkham House, which I don't think exists anymore. So I think now H.P. Lovecraft stuff is just basically a free IP you can utilize. Do whatever you want. But they had some sort of agreement with Michael Moorcock that they could do it. And then Chaosium was like, well, wait a second. We do Stormbringer. So then in the second print run, they thanked Chaosium and kept that content in. Then on the third print run, they thanked Chaosium, but they took that content out. So you have to get one of the first two print runs in order to get that. So I don't know. we'll see. We'll see what's going on. So, a Great A says they were looking at the OG basic box set, nothing less than like $150. Well, yeah, in good shape, right? Now, I have run across, I've seen where people are like selling their like basic. See, because when I say basic D&D, I usually think of Holmes, which I guess a lot of people call it a Holmes edition, and then we've got the Moldave edition, which is BX. But yeah, when I think basic, I always think of the blue Holmes, right? So, but yeah, I've seen people selling like the books or like the the basic book. It just nobody's got the box. So, and a Great A says the collector's box set runs at least $250. I know, and the funny thing is too, when they re-released the first and second edition, I think they did third. When Wizards of the Coast came out with those kind of leatherette first edition books, I got those and I reviewed them, and then I was like, I don't. And I gave them to a friend out in Arizona, and now it's like, holy cow, I should have hung on to those, dummy. It's like stupid. All right, anyway, so before I wrap up, I didn't have a show yesterday because it was Martin Luther King Day here in the US. And I tend to take Mondays off if we have a holiday where like schools and banks are closed and people have the day off from work. So it's kind of funny, and I posted this, I tweeted this today, and I kind of responded to somebody I know who had tweeted last night. And there is someone, a game designer. I'm not going to get into the whole story. I'm not going to get into the back and forth about it. But there's a well-known game designer who their games are very, very popular. They've done very well. And they dropped an N-bomb in the correct context for being pissed off about, right? So, so that's so that's one thing, right? Now, I don't know this person. I got to be honest, I have not reviewed any of their games. But of course, I have shared news about these games. And they apologized. All right. So, but what they said was racist. Okay. The way it was presented was racist. It was not. And they apologized. So there's that. Now, I'm not letting them off the hook for apologizing. I've got nothing to say about that. It's like, you know what? You said what you said. You made your bed, you're going to sleep in it. Just like if you follow baseball, if you know what's going on with the general manager of the New York Mets, and I guess what he had done when he was part of the Chicago Cubs organization, which pisses me off. It's like, great. He did something that was pretty mortifying and disgusting, and that came out, and now he's gone. Like a month after he was hired by the Mets, and put together these big, huge blockbuster deals. So the Mets, people are like, wow, they're super excited about the Mets. I gotta touch base with my buddy Herman Lutman, game designer extraordinaire, Herman Lutman, to see what he thinks about the Mets. But once again, this guy did this. You make your bed, and you take on the consequences. So the thing that irritates me is that all these people, some of who cover this hobby, some of who have channels that pull in tons and tons of viewers, tons and tons of subscribers, who run Kickstarters every year to keep themselves in business or to drain your wallet, what have you, were falling all over themselves to make up excuses for this game designer's racial comment. And it's like, okay, yeah, I understand English is not this person's first language. Okay, I get that. But they've also been interviewed umpteen times by English speakers, and they absolutely have a grasp of the English language. And they use the word exactly as it should not be used by anyone. But I was like, you know what? You got to be joking. I mean, these people, I'm no joke, falling all over themselves. Be like, oh no, there's no way that so and so is a racist. It's impossible. Really? How is it impossible? I don't know where people get this impression that the tabletop gaming industry is different than society at large. I've been involved with this hobby for more than 40 years. And I will tell you, there are racist people who are in this hobby. And I'm not talking about just, oh, well, people are like, oh, those war gamers, they tend to be really right wing. Well, war gamers tend to be conservative, but they're not necessarily, I'm trying to say, storming the U.S. Capitol. But this thought that, oh, wow, it's like we're all holding hands and singing Kumbaya is ridiculous. I don't get it. I would take a guess there are probably more racists in tabletop gaming than outside. If we were looking at like a percentage, right? If we were like, okay, so this percent of Americans are bigoted. I would think, I could be completely wrong and I could be talking right out of my ass, but I honestly think that would probably be a little higher if you were just looking at people in the hobby. Because you have to keep in mind, and once again, this is another thing that people just want to, like kind of gloss over, right? They want to gloss over this stuff. They want to wear blinders so they don't see it. Oh, well, that doesn't happen. Oh, there's no way XYZ is racist. No, it's impossible. How do you know? You are not them. So I understand, like, sticking up, for somebody. I get that. But don't sit there and be like, oh, it's impossible. It is possible. Don't say it's impossible. So you got the people with the blinders on. Then you got the other people who are like, oh, it's a few bad eggs. It's like we hear about police departments throughout the U.S. It's a few bad eggs. That ain't the case either. Problem is, if the hobby sits here and we just kind of like, blow it off or be like, oh, well, no, it really doesn't exist. Yeah, just a few bad eggs. No, I don't see anything. I haven't seen anything. I haven't heard anything. I'll tell you right now, I've been covering this hobby for over a decade. I've been involved in this hobby for a lot longer than that. And there are people out there. I'm not here to like ruin anybody's reputation or anything like that. But I have hung around with a lot of people in the industry after the con's over for the day, kicking back, having cocktails, things like that. And I have had some of them say some really fucked up shit. I'm not here to sit there and be like, oh, well, so-and-so said this. Oh, that's going to bring people running to the channel. Yeah, of course it would. But then again, That's not my bag of tricks. My bag of tricks is basically once I had to hear something, or they made some sort of comment, or or told me a story. That was the end of me covering their companies or their designs or things like that. It's just, you know. But yeah, we can't sit here and be like, oh no, there's no racists in tabletop gaming. Come on, give me a break. Yeah, there are. Yeah, there are. And there always have been. Always have been. Oh, one of the things I started to say and then I got off topic was, or I was on topic, I started talking about something else, is we understand that we have in our hobby, we've got people who are antisocial or socially stunted or socially awkward. There's it's one of the reasons why our hobby exists, because it was a way for nerds to get together and I'll be the first to point out I was a nerd. I didn't look like it in high school. For one, I was a bigger guy. I wasn't like some little scrawny guy, even as a freshman. And we never allowed our hobby to like just take over our lives. We had girlfriends and we went out and hung out and went on dates and went movies and out to eat. We didn't just, as much as I talk about how much we played Call of Cthulhu, does not mean that we did not have social lives outside of that. But we do have people who don't have social lives outside of gaming. We have people who have a very different way of looking at the world than many of us as well. Doug Roberts says political correctness makes people soft. Racism is bad, yes, but it's getting blown way out of proportion. I agree with you on the political correctness. I am not a fan of political correctness. As far as the racism being blown out of proportion, that I disagree. I disagree. And the reason why I disagree is because the person who occupied the White House and who is occupying the White House until tomorrow morning made people out there who were racist, who are racist, feel comfortable in sharing that racism with people that they would never have done before. Plain and simple. When Jimmy Carter was in office, you did not have the sort of just public. Thank you. Kabuki Kids joined us in chat too. And I will actually use that word. We didn't have that public emboldenment, because people weren't emboldened to share their hatred and their bigotry as they have. So I agree with the political correctness. You know what? Call things what they are. And people are so oversensitive about shit that they shouldn't be. Oh, you called me that word. Oh, or that word. Oh, that word makes me mad. It's like, get over it. So what? Nobody came up to you and poked you in the eye. But if they are threatening to poke you in the eye, well, then that's different as well. So Quest Friend says, thanks for calling the issue out. We got to keep the hobby healthy. We do. And I'm not, they blame racism for everything. I'm not doing that. I'm not saying, Anyway, Flaming Heron says, well, he needed their votes. Just saying. Yeah, I get that too. That's what the dog whistles for. Anyway, but I just want to point out that it does exist. It exists in our hobby. Don't kid yourself. It doesn't. If it exists in society, it exists in our hobby. I'm not trying to be the thought police. I'm not going to tell you what you should think. But when somebody says something and it's out there, it's in the public record, and then they're like, oh, I'm being canceled for what I said. Yeah, that's how it works. Sorry. And I know you're canceled. I could easily say something stupid one day, and that'd be the end of me. That'd be the end of the gaming gang and all that for saying something stupid. Thankfully, I don't have much to worry about. The only time I'm stupid is when I'm talking about goofy ass games. And I'm like, isn't that? And it's like, no. Oh, yeah, you're right. Doug says that's why I say racism is getting out of proportion. Yeah, like I said, can't blame it for all the ills in the world, but it in some situations it's getting worse. It's not getting better. So, Tax Money has joined us in chat. Cheers to the GG community. It's actually TGG. I should point out to people. Sometimes people are like, "Oh, hey, gaming gang." It's the gaming gang. That's why the abbreviation is TGG. But hey, that's cool. New to the hobby. Well, welcome aboard, TM. You will find plenty of info about the hobby, both here on the channel as well as over on thegaminggang.com. So Mel Winnies has been hanging out. Mel Winnies says, I have no Twitter account. And most of the drama goes right past, which is probably good. Yeah, as far as Twitter, I try not to involve myself on Twitter too much. Simply because it's it's kind of a cesspool. It really is. And I don't agree with a lot of Alec Baldwin. Why did I say Alex? Alec Baldwin. I mean, I think he's fine. I don't despise him like some people do, but then I don't worship him either like some people do. But I did think it was funny that he's leaving Twitter again and said that it's like being at a party where everybody's screaming. Not much of a party anymore. And I agree. I agree with him on that. Joe Roberts is with us in chat as well. Good to see you, Joe. All right. So anyway, I just want to float that out. I'm not here to I'm not trying to walk on your buzz or anything like that. But I think people know by now, I'm not somebody who just sits there and goes, something pops up. I'm like, you know what? I got to bring it up. Got to mention it. And the funny thing is, it's not really that this person dropped the N-bomb. I was like, okay, whatever. That's you. That's on you. Go, whatever. You can say whatever, freedom of speech, right? There you go. But when there's fallout from it, don't come crying because you're the one who said it. What really kind of made me like, what? Is all these people in the hobby who are like all jumping to this person's defense. And like I said, you can defend your friends, you can defend people, I get it. But just some of the hand wringing and and like just page long responses on Twitter. And it's like, come on, you're falling all over yourselves to stick up for somebody who said something despicable. There you go. All right. Anyway, you'd think I was in a bad mood. I'm not. I'm in a good mood because I got the really good fucking player's handbook that I thought was going to be all beat to shit. And it's not. Anyway. Plus, hey, first timers, people who are just joining us, I normally am not wearing glasses. So I apologize. You're getting some glare here when I move my head around. I'm just giving my eyes a bit of a break. All right. So, Grady's like 3.84K subscribers. Yes. We have got, I think, if I remember right, I think when you look at the subscriber count, it shows like the tens, right? So now I might be wrong, but I mean, I know this is what it shares on other apps, things like that. So it'll say, 3,840 subscribers, whereas I'm on the back end. I get to see the actual number. So we're probably sitting at about 3,846 or 7. But if we can hit 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, I know time is running out. But if we do get to 4,000, I'm giving away a copy of Next War Korea from GMT Games. That's right, everyone. And of course, if we can get to 5,000, hey, I just float these contests out. I'm trying, right? I will actually give away a set of the 3 core books for first edition Dungeons and Dragons. These are with the Jeff Eastley artwork. So that's for 5,000. And of course, I did recently reveal that if I hit 6,000 subscribers by the end of next month, I'm giving away my alternate art copy of the upcoming D&D book, Candlekeep Mysteries. So I'm trying to tie stuff into subscribers on YouTube as opposed to followers on Twitter. I try to do a little bit of both. All right. Anyway, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube. It'll also let you know when I upload standalone videos such as tomorrow's review of Apocalypse Road from GMT Games. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Those of you who hung out in chat, thank you very much. We had a few first-timers swinging in. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Flaming Heron's asking if I'll mail out Candlekeep Mysteries anywhere in the world. I will. Same with Next War Korea. Same with the AD&D books. Yes. If I can send stuff out from the United States to a location, I will do that. So if you're in Iran, sorry. Just don't think I could send you something there. All right. Anyway, if you were watching live, thank you very much. I always appreciate you hanging out and keeping me company so I don't feel like a complete doofus just sitting here talking to a camera. And thanks for the folks who are hanging out for the first time. Of course, I know there are plenty of people out there who catch the Dispatch who aren't able to watch it live. Hey, maybe you're watching on Memorex. Regardless, thank you very much for taking time out to give the show a watch as well. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Tuesday night or Wednesday or whatever day it happens to be while you watch this. And I will be back tomorrow. And as I tend to close out all my videos during this never-ending pandemic, here's hoping all of you out there are being smart and staying safe. Oh, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, if you'd like to subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel, by all means, click right here. And if you'd like to check out one of our recent live streams, click right up top. And if you want to roll the dice and see what the algorithm for YouTube recommends, click right here. And of course, thank you once again for watching. And gang, please stay